Ronnie, would you like to take a shot with me?
Yeah, buddy.
And while you're doing the powerlifting and the bodybuilding, like what is your diet like at that point?
Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Love it.
Burger King.
How much do you guess that I could deadlift?
215. Yeah, 215.
650.
See, yeah, I was close.
Was there any other moments in your life that you've thought about quitting your journey?
Yeah, buddy.
I never thought I'd be sitting across from you having a conversation with you, so I just want to thank you for taking time out. 1998, you won your first Olympia, and then you went on to win how many consecutive champions?
Million. Million.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Don't Be Sour, the most muscular podcast in the world. And this is big number episode 10 with bodybuilding icon, Ronnie Coleman.
Yeah, buddy.
I want to thank you so much for coming on here. This is absolutely wild, and for you to be the 10th guest, and I just never in a million years. You know, I grew up watching a lot of your stuff when I first started getting into working out, and mainly your strength stuff. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not much of the bodybuilder type of stuff. But I never thought I'd be sitting across from you having a conversation with you. So I just want to thank you for taking time out.
Oh, I'm honored. The pleasure's all mine.
Hey, well, thank you. And
always good to be on a great podcast like this. I heard a lot about it.
This is gonna be the best one. And I also never thought I'd get to ask this question. Ronnie, would you like to take a shot with me?
Oh yeah.
Your shot? Let's do it.
Let's do it.
We like it lubes us up for the show, you know.
I'm ready.
I heard you're a Patron guy.
Yeah.
Let me pour yours here first.
Thank you.
I know you meet a lot of people throughout your time, and I don't know if you know this, but you and I actually have hung out before.
Oh yeah.
Hey, you don't remember?
Man, I've been so many.
I know. I have a video here that I posted on my Instagram in 2014 of us. You ready for this?
Yeah.
Here we go.
What will be?
Yeah, buddy.
I could walk back there. That was a long time ago.
I know. This is we go way
Where's
back.
that at?
That was in the Arnold. So 2014. It was at a random small little gym. I was actually there. I was collaborating with this guy, Chris Jones, and I was doing deadlifts in the same room as you. You were lifting like 15 feet away. So it's,
oh yeah, man.
We hung out back then.
Small world.
We hung out here. I know. And why don't you tell the people for maybe the very few that don't know much about you? Can you tell kind of like who you are and your accolades and?
Well, from a small town, Bastrop, Louisiana. Like I say, we got about 15,000 people. I grew up there. I started working out when I was 12 years old.
Oh, wow.
And being from a small town, you know, we didn't have much. But the reason why I started working out because when I was young, I was real muscular. And everywhere I went, it seemed like people would ask me if I worked out. So I said no so many times, I got tired of saying no. So I'm like, I wonder what I would look like if I actually started working out.
This is at 12 years old?
I was 12 years old. So I started working out and fell in love with it and been doing it ever since.
See, I actually look the same like I did when I was 12 years old, you know?
But, you know, when I got to high school, they asked me to join the powerlifting team. So I started competing, had fun, enjoyed it. And then I got to college. I played football for 4 years. And we didn't have too much of a weight room.
Yeah.
Weight room was half the size of this room here. So they didn't have a required time to work out. But if you wanted to work out, you had to get up at 5 a.m. and the gym closed at 6.
Oh, wow. That's soon.
You had 1 hour a day to work out every single day, and it was from 5 to 6 a.m. So
you made it work.
I made it work.
Wait, I realized we didn't even take our shots.
Oh, yeah.
Cheers. Very excited about this one.
Me too. Oh, yeah.
It goes down smooth.
That was pretty good.
Ooh, bought this especially for you.
Oh, thank you. That was nice.
So you can continue to work out at such a young age.
1 hour a day, yeah. And you know, I still worked out and got my degree December 1986. I was real fortunate that I graduated with honors in accounting because I studied every single day.
Accounting,
yeah. and it's pretty hard.
Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. I barely passed all my accounting classes.
I aced all the basic accounting classes, and I got the intermediate accounting, and I got my first F. And I thought, oh, what have I got myself into? And I made my first C, I think, that year. I think that was my junior year.
Were your parents someone that like, did they?
No, not really.
They didn't hold you to make it like you better get A's or B's?
No. I just took it upon myself. I pretty much made the honor roll my whole life, to starting out from elementary, junior high, high school.
Couldn't be me.
Yeah. Got to college, and I kept that same mentality. I made president's list, dean's list just about every semester.
Oh, wow.
And also the honor roll, too. So I graduated, and I didn't have a job. And I played football, and I thought I was going to make the pros. And, I did the combine, what they called back then, combine.
Did you do well at it? Or
I thought I did, because they had me do everything like 2 or 3 times. They kept, wanting to see me. And the guy told me that, he was watching me and he probably going to be drafting me after the season was over with. And the season was over with and didn't get drafted.
Never got the phone call.
Man, yeah. So
what team would you have wanted to play for?
Well, this guy was from the Eagles.
Okay.
And I thought I was going to make it, but I didn't. And I didn't want to go out there and try out. And I thought, like, it's going to be a rat race, I really don't want to do that. So my friends had a job in Dallas. So I went to school with them. I've been with them all my life. We've been childhood friends. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to Dallas.
Yeah.
So I followed them out to Dallas and tried to get a job in accounting. Nothing happened. And I bought this car, and car note was coming up. And I'm like, oh, man, I need to get something quick. And I just took the first thing that came along, that first guy that offered me a job, and it was Domino's Pizza.
I just had Domino's Pizza 2 nights ago. You're probably the most jacked Domino's Pizza delivery driver.
I also pulled back those days that I ate Domino's for dinner every single day.
Most people would look at that as a dream right there.
Now I can't stand it.
Really?
I can't. Yeah, I don't eat Domino's Pizza anymore. I haven't had it since I worked there.
Yeah.
So, I worked there for almost about 2 years, and the whole time I was there, I was trying to get a job in accounting. I went on all these interviews every single week, it seemed like, and nobody never hired me.
Were you interested in getting an accounting job because that's what your degree was in, or did you have a passion for?
I had passion for accounting.
Most people
I loved it.
Most people, they never want to do their own taxes. You wanted to go into a job where you wanted to do the job that no one wanted to do.
Exactly. I loved doing taxes back in those days.
Well, how about now? Do you still like doing taxes?
No. I hate it now. So I like, okay, this is not gonna work out.
Right.
And a friend of mine said, man, they hiring at the police department over there. I'm like, yeah, I do see the police department is hiring every time I get the classified. So, hey, they don't really need experience or nothing. So I applied and got hired on.
And you did the police officer for 11 years, right?
About 15 years.
Oh, wow. Even more.
I did like 11, 12 full-time, and then 3 years, I think, part-time.
So I've seen a lot of the videos when the cameras would kind of follow you around. I remember in your locker room eating the chicken and rice, and I've seen all these iconic videos. And you were a super big guy back then too. Was that
330?
330. Wow. That's the largest police. You got to be the largest.
Everything was tailor made. My vest. It was hard to get this stuff made too. I went to like 2 or 3 different companies to make my vest because the first company didn't do good. The second one didn't do that good. So I went to a third one and I finally got it right.
So you were in like your peak, but not your peak, but you were big into the bodybuilding even when you went into the.
I started bodybuilding the same time I started with the police department.
So now I see a lot of videos a lot of times of like chest cams or something of nowadays people get pulled over, they talk back to police officer. I don't think a lot of people talk back to you, right?
Nobody ever talked back to me. I went to work every day with an attitude.
I bet.
Thinking, I wish somebody would. I wish a motherfucker would. Nobody would never talk back. Nobody would ever challenge me. And I'm like, oh man, this ain't no fun.
You'd be like, sir, you were doing a 60 and a 30. They're like, yep, you're probably right. I think I was doing that. Yep.
Yeah,
Actually,
exactly.
I was doing 70. So I'm gonna go. You can write the ticket higher of that.
Exactly.
So you did the police, the police force, and was that right around when you started training for the, your kind of high accolades, the Olympia?
Well, see, I joined the police force in March of 1989, and I started bodybuilding in December of 1989.
Okay.
And I did my first show April 7, 1990.
And that was, what show was
Mr.
that?
Texas.
Miss Texas.
I won first in overall.
There you go.
And I won first in overall in the first 4 shows I did. Then I went to nationals, one of the biggest shows as an amateur that you can go to, and I placed 3rd.
Were you like, damn it?
I was shocked, surprised.
Because how big were you?
I did so good. I was 215. Yeah, 215 back then. And, I did pretty good my first year in it. My second year, I turned pro. I went to World Championships.
And then
in Katowice, Poland.
So what led to
Mr. Universe?
You to continue on Olympia? Now I'm
and because I won that show, I automatically qualified for the Mr. Olympia. So I did my first Mr. Olympia in 1992. I was pretty much a fan on stage, up there with all those guys.
Yeah.
I didn't get not one call out, so I didn't place. I was just there. I just stood there the whole show.
Now I'm not someone who is. It may not look like it, but I'm in the fitness industry. I've been in it for about 10 years now, and the Olympia. I've gone to obviously all the expos. I know about the show. Is the Olympia the absolute top tier in the bodybuilding world? There's nothing above it.
It's a Super Bowl.
Is it? Mm-hmm. And so, and now, what are you eventually went on to win many times.
Yeah. It took a while though. I went to the Olympia. I didn't qualify in 1993. You had to place in the top 3 in a regular bodybuilding contest. I got like 5th, 6th every show I went to.
Why do you think that was?
Well,
wasn't big enough.
I wasn't big enough, and I wasn't doing what the guys were doing.
Yeah. Is there a lot of like politics in the?
Yeah, it's a lot of politics.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of fan favorites or people doing X.
And
they know everyone.
I wasn't a favorite. Because I turned pro quick. A lot of guys they build their reputation up in the amateur ranks. And then once they become pro, they're real popular.
Yeah.
Well, I turned pro right away. I didn't get a chance to build a reputation in the amateur ranks. Because I started bodybuilding in 1990. I turned pro in 1991.
So they're probably like, who's this new guy?
Yeah, who's this new
thinking
guy?
He can come in and just take the show.
Exactly.
And so what year did you win your first Olympia?
1998. I didn't win my first pro show until 1995.
Okay.
Turned pro in 91, won my first pro show in 1995.
As in 1998, you won your first Olympia, and then you went on to win how many consecutive
8
championships?
Yeah, 8 in a row.
And you're tied with, is it Lee Haney? Lee Haney.
Yeah.
Both won 8. So it's amazing you go from not winning, not placing,
not even getting a call out.
You're probably like, what the hell?
Just watching the show, they totally ignored me.
So you were surprised. It wasn't like when you didn't get a call out, so you're like, I know what I need to bring up. It was like,
in 98, I was caught totally off guard.
Yeah.
Didn't think I had a prayer of winning. Because the year before I placed 9th, it was kind of like, I'm working my way up.
Yeah.
In 1993, I didn't qualify. In 1994, got 15th. 1995, I got like 11th, 12th. 1996, I'm steady climbing up. 1996, I got, I think it was sixth place. So I'm doing good. 1997, man, I fall back to 9th. I'm like, dang.
And then you just rocket ship.
This ain't for me. I thought about quitting.
Right.
I went back to my room. I'll never forget it. And I told my girlfriend, I got this full-time job, police department. I love it. I enjoy it. I'm making good money. I was making 6-figure salary, just working there.
Right.
Because I had part-time jobs. I worked at, like Denny's. I did security.
So you were doing everything.
Yeah, I was working at a boot store. I worked in my apartment complex, free rent. I didn't have to pay rent. So I'm like, I don't need this bodybuilding stuff. I got benefits. I got good insurance, and I just said, hey, I'm done with this bodybuilding stuff.
Yeah, I'm sure it's discouraging. How much? I'm assuming it took a lot, not only of your time and your mind power to compete, in this show and then not to do well.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much money? Let's say for like an Olympia prep, like how much do you think the average person or average bodybuilder would spend?
I spend at least about $20,000.
Wow, just on each show.
On each show,
and then
once I started winning. I had a nutritionist.
Oh, you got to pay them too?
Like 50.
Do you?
1,000.
Oh, wow. Do you win any money on the Olympia for placing?
I won $110,000. That ain't no money.
But with that,
I got my money from endorsement.
Right. Okay.
Like I had,
so even when you're placing 9th or something, you would make money from that?
See, 9th. Yeah. I got probably like 15,000.
Yeah, but but you're like, I made 15, but I spent 30 to 20. Get here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so going from 9th place to 1st place, why do you think there was that jump?
I met somebody who knew a lot about the sport. This guy by the name of Flex Wheeler.
I'm aware.
He taught me a lot. He said, hey, I just went to his room one day, and I like, man, what are you doing to win all these shows? He's like, dude, if you want to be with the big dogs, you got to do what the big dogs are doing. I'm like, what the hell are y'all doing? So he just laid out a list, said, hey, we doing this.
Yeah.
I'm like, dang, I ain't doing none of that. And he told me, well, I can hook you up with,
I know a guy.
I know a guy. That can get you everything you need. I'm like, okay.
And so it's amazing when you started doing all that stuff. That's what took you from
like 10th to 1st.
That's wild. And then did you just continue to improve your physique or your presence to continue to win
every year?
Mm-hmm. What was more shocking, winning first your first time or winning first twice in a row to start this kind of like
winning my first time? Because, like I said, I quit in my head, the year before, in 97, before I won the first one. I went back to my room, I told my girlfriend, hey, look, I don't need this. I'm done. And she kind of looked at me and she said, boy, shut up. And I thought to myself, wait a minute, I ain't no quitter. And, if I quit, I lose my membership to the gym. I don't know if I told you the reason why I started bodybuilding.
Well, you said because
no, I didn't. Well, this is how I got into bodybuilding. I had finished my training as a rookie, and I was on my own, and I went to a call, and they always sent 2 people to a call.
Okay.
Well, the guy they sent with me said, "Hey, man, you pretty big. Where you working out at?" I'm like, "Well, I work at the station." It's like, no, dude, you too big.
You're working at the police station gym?
I work at the police station gym. He's like, no, dude, that's too small for you. It's about the size of this room here, maybe smaller.
Didn't have enough weight for you to lift.
Didn't have enough weight, yeah. I couldn't even put 300 on the bench because they didn't have that much weight.
Right.
He's like, I got this gym, I can take you to. They got a lot of weights there. He's like, you can come with me tomorrow. I'm like, okay. So I get to this gym, and the owner, his name is Brian Dobbs, he's like, dude, you're pretty big. You compete? I'm like, no, dude, I don't compete. I'm not interested in that. And I'm like, those guys have to take, steroids, and they have to diet. Back then, my diet was pizza, Domino's, Kentucky Fried Chicken,
Love it.
Burger King, that's what I ate every single day.
You were doing the dirty bulk for real.
For real. He's like, no, man, you can do this. I'm like, no, dude, I'm not interested in it. So I went the next day. He's like, dude, you sure you don't want to compete? I'm like, no, man, you asked me about that yesterday. I told you no. I'm a police officer. I'm not interested in being a bodybuilder. He's like, man, you could do pretty good. He's like, you could probably win the Olympia one day. I'm like, what's that?
Like me?
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know nothing about that, that sport. It's like, man, you do pretty good. I'm telling you, you do this. I'm like, nah, dude, that's all I'm a police officer, and that's what I want to do. Well, the third day, he's like, hey, man, he's like, I'm telling you.
He didn't let up.
Yeah, he wasn't letting up. I just said, I'm telling you, you can do real good in this sport. He said, I tell you what, he said, I give you a free membership to this gym if you compete in this show coming up in like 3 months. He's like, I teach you how to train as a bodybuilder. I teach you how to diet. I teach you everything. I was like, dude, you should have led with that.
So the $50 free gym membership is what convinced you.
Yeah, that's what convinced me to start bodybuilding.
And now you said when you went from, when placing 9th to placing 1st, so did you not take any steroids up until that time? Or?
Well, I had that talk with Flex in 1994. So I probably did my first cycle in 1995 after I talked to him.
Okay.
So that's when I started winning, just regular shows.
So
not in the Olympia.
Yeah.
95, I placed I think 15th, and 96, I think I went all the way up to 6th place.
Right.
Actually 7th. The guy failed a drug test. Back then they tested for diuretics and stuff like that. And 97, I went back down from 6th all the way to 9th.
That's not what you want to do.
I'm like, oh man, this ain't working.
So you were climbing, then you dropped, and then you.
And I went back to my room. I told my girlfriend, I like, dude, I was like, hey, I'm done with this bodybuilding stuff. I don't need this. It's not working out. I'm going backwards. And she looked at me. She's like, boy, shut up. And I said, damn, she's probably right. Because if I quit bodybuilding, I lose my free membership to the gym.
That's right. And then that kind of changed your life forever.
Yeah. And I'm like, okay, all right, I'm gonna stick with it.
So being the champion for so long in a row, I mean, having the tied with the record, right? At a certain point when you started winning first, were you still hungry for maintaining that title? Did you get cocky at all about no one can beat me, I'm the best, I'm the biggest?
I never got cocky, and I thought every year that they was gonna take it away from me. So I'm working harder and harder every year trying to hold on to this thing.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I had to do this, and this, to win last year. So I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna do all the stuff that I've always done to win, to keep winning.
What do you think each year you improved on or did better to continue your legacy with these championships?
I would work on my conditioning and try to get, more conditioned every single year. Try to get better at that.
Right.
So reason why what kept me motivated was trying to get better. So I wouldn't lose this title because I worked so hard to get here, And I'm like, I just can't give it up like that, I done put in way too much work, And then I ended up, quitting my job at the police department.
Well, at that point,
after the third one.
At that point, you have to. It's always been a full-time job on top of your other full-time job, but now it's a lifelong commitment. You're in this.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm like, I can't lose.
Yeah, and you say you couldn't lose, and then can I ask why do you think on the 9th year? Why do you think you didn't get the 9th one? They didn't want anyone to beat the 8 record. That's what they wanted.
Exactly. They didn't even want anybody to beat the 8.
Yeah.
So
do you think there's anything you didn't bring, or
they change is good. People quit coming to the show he's gonna win again.
It's probably some sort of mindset that people had of this guy's just gonna win again. We can't let him win again.
Yeah. And they we gotta do something. We gotta change it up. So
it's wild how that works because you think there's the best would win each time, and sometimes it's not necessarily about that. No, not to knock anyone else in the show, but it's
political like everything else,
And so during all this bodybuilding that you were doing, you were probably the strongest bodybuilder compared to the other guys, right?
Just genetically, basically,
because you're big in the powerlifting, and you said in another podcast that you said you think that strength is a gift.
It is, most definitely.
Now, I'm going to ask you a question, okay? Now, you said it's a gift. Now, I want you to look at this. I said we deadlifted in the room. I deadlifted in a room near you back in 2014.
Yeah.
Now, if you were to look at me, How much do you think that I can deadlift? I'm 165 pounds.
You can never tell because I'm gonna tell you the reason why. As this powerlifter I worked out with, he was about your size, but
Small.
he could deadlift 1,000 pounds.
1,000 pounds?
Yeah.
No, I can't deadlift 1,000 pounds. How much do you guess that I could deadlift? My one rep max.
I'm looking at like maybe it's 600-700.
650.
See, I was close.
Can you believe it?
Yeah.
You've probably seen everything now, so you've seen these like smaller guys and just pull some crazy numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I've always said a lot of people would talk negatively about me on the internet because the reason I gained popularity about 10 years ago and kind of built my name in the fitness industry was I was this smaller guy who didn't look like he could lift, but he could lift a lot of weight. I was deadlifting more than the bigger guys. And they would always make a comment that said, why would you want to lift all this weight without looking like you can lift all the weight? And my comeback would always be, why would you want to be really big but not be able to lift the weight that you look like you could lift? Yep. Where you were making sure that you could look like you lift a lot of weight and lift a lot of weight.
Yeah, because there were quite a few guys that were pretty big that couldn't, lift a lot of weight.
What do you think? So a lot of the other guys, without saying any names, like were there some guys that were as big as you that you were like, you really can't lift that?
To be honest with you, yeah. Because I remember I had to call guys out. A couple guys I worked out with, I'm like, man, you really can't do that? Like you just said. Like, I thought, all that size carried a lot of strength. Yeah. But it don't.
And I always thought that, at least I learned, again, I think it's with the gift and the genetics, because I just thought the more that I could lift, I would have to get bigger, and it doesn't seem to be the case. Because I can also, you may not believe this, I might have the Guinness Book of World Records for the smallest leg to squat ratio. I've squatted 501 pounds in competition. Yeah. And my legs, my girlfriend has the same size legs as me, and it's.
I've seen it so many times. I've been to so many powerlifting meets. You see these skinny guys get under that weight, and you're like, no way he can squat that. They can squat it. Yeah. Skinny legs and all.
Why did you continue to?
The gift.
You knew you were strong, and you had the genetics to be strong and to get huge, right? To get extremely muscular, to be the best of the best. Why did you still? Was it such a passion for powerlifting or lifting heavy?
Passion for powerlifting, because that's where I started.
Because it really puts a big risk. I mean, obviously on your body, but it puts a big risk when you're in this competition. Because the iconic video of you is the 800-pound squats. Yeah. And that was outside of a show, was it not? Like
no, that was way outside of a show. Okay. The 800-pound deadlift was 5 weeks out from the Olympia.
Okay, so I'm getting my I hate when I get my 800-pound lifts mixed up, So did you just you were so confident in yourself, or were you like? Was anyone like, you shouldn't lift that heavy close to this show?
I was so confident in myself that, it didn't never crossed my mind. Yeah. That I could get injured, lifting that kind of weight.
And so you didn't even think about injury at the time. You weren't even thinking about like, hey, what if I get?
No, never thought about it.
Tweak, I'm not gonna be able to do the reps for my show.
Never even crossed my mind, not one time, because I had been doing it for so long. I think I started in high school, lifting heavy, and I had done it my whole entire life, and I never got injured before. So, why would I get injured now?
I think I've been powerlifting for a long time, and I think I get into the cocky mindset that maybe you were in as well, of like, could never happen to me.
Exactly.
Could never happen.
That's the mindset I had.
I had my first minor injury a couple weeks ago. I was training for a deadlifting competition, and like 2 weeks out, I pulled my lat, and that was the first time. When you had your first injury ever with lifting, did you just think, as soon as I recover this, I'm back at it, or did you go like, maybe I shouldn't be doing this anymore?
I herniated my disc getting ready for the Arnold Classic in 1996. And took 2 weeks off, I herniated disc, and I was in a lot of pain. Yeah. Didn't think I'd be able to lift again for a while. 2 weeks later, I'm like, no, I got to get ready for this show. I'm going back to the gym, and the first thing I'm going to do is what hurt me.
So was it the deadlifts?
No, squat.
Okay.
So I went back to the gym, squat the first thing I did.
Sometimes you just can't escape like the feeling of the weight on your back, the weight on your hand.
Mm-hmm. I was going to conquer my fears right away even if I thought I had any. I couldn't squat that heavy no more for a while, but I could squat.
I know there was, I think there's a clip one time of Kai Green talking about, he would lift extremely light weights, and he would always say that, the muscle doesn't know how heavy it's lifting. It's about the contraction. Whereas you're like, yeah, but I want to know how much I'm lifting.
Exactly.
I want to be lifting as heavy as possible at all times.
Exactly. And like I said, yeah, I had that passion for it. So why not?
and while you're doing the powerlifting and the bodybuilding, like what is your diet like at that point?
I'm kind of like low carb, high protein. Probably taking in about 600 grams of protein a day.
600 grams protein?
Yeah, I'm trying to do.
How do you eat that much? What do you want?
Man, it's rough. It's kind of hard at first,
Can you walk me through like a day of protein intake to get?
I'm trying to get about a pound of chicken, steak, turkey with each meal. Now I'm eating 6 times a day.
Sometimes for dinner, I eat a whole pound of turkey in the packet, and afterwards I can't even walk. And you were doing that 6 times a day.
Yeah, I was doing that 6 times a day. Well, I also did shakes too. Sometimes I had shakes with.
Do you think that I don't know if so? Over time, when I started doing fitness, right, there was a lot of conceptions about or misconceptions about maybe diet, about you need X amount of protein, you need all these things, and over time, that people found out that it maybe wasn't as necessary as it used, or as everyone thought it was. Whether it be meal timing or you can only consume 30 grams protein in one sitting type of thing. Has your mindset changed from how you ate and how you consumed your nutrients back then to now, or you're so locked in, you're like, this is what I do?
Yeah, I was so locked in that's what I did.
Do you eat sweets or anything like that now, or do you still do the clean diet, or do you? I know you don't eat the Domino's pizza, but do you?
No.
Do you treat yourself to snacks and stuff now, or how do you keep your diet now?
Every now and then, yeah, I'll treat myself to snacks and stuff.
Like candy?
Yeah, well, I don't really do candy so much no more because I had these fillings that kept popping out.
Like in your teeth?
Yeah, and caps and crowns kept coming off. So I have
to get a crown. I have to get a crown replaced on Friday because I'm addicted to sour. Do you like sour candy?
Yep, I like the gummy type, like Dots and fish.
Swedish fish?
Yeah, Swedish fish.
Now
yeah.
you said your kids like eating the sour strips, and I was wondering if I could
love
it. Do you think I could get you to try one piece of one of these sour strips?
Oh,
so we got a lot of flavors here. We have strawberry, cherry, watermelon.
I love me some strawberry for sure.
Oh yeah, I need to know Ronnie Coleman's opinion on the candy.
Yeah, I'm real good with the candy. At least
you can tell me if it sucks.
Oh. I tell you, this is pretty good. Already. Well, that's good stuff right there.
That's good?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
You're not lying to me, are you?
I guarantee you my kids will love this.
Yeah. We'll have to give you a big care package to take back to your kids.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And
they already told me I need to bring some back.
No, absolutely. So Ronnie Coleman approves of sour strips.
Yeah, sour strips off the chain.
I like that. And so as you started, lifting heavy and getting further in your career, that's when, I don't want to say like a domino effect of these injuries started kind of occurring.
No. People think I got injuries from working out. So I got injuries from playing football. I hurt my back real bad in college.
Oh, so this is earlier, like a
I was already injured before I started bodybuilding and stuff,
So you did your entire bodybuilding career.
Nobody knows that. Yeah.
What was the injury you had?
I hurt my back. I don't know exactly what it was. I was just in a lot of pain. So I started going to the chiropractor, and I went to the chiropractor like every single day when I was in college.
Just snapping you up?
Yeah, and it worked out real good. And every workout, after workout, my back would be real tight. But, after about an hour or two, it would loosen up and I'd be okay.
So you essentially worked out with pain your entire life?
My entire life. Started when I was in college, when I hurt my back in college playing football.
So you think it just kind of like built up over time, and then one day, what was the straw that broke the camel's back? You know,
probably when I herniated that disc in 1996 when I get ready for the Arnold Classic. Remember I was telling you about it earlier?
Right.
Yeah. I was okay, you know. I still did the Arnold Classic and still continued, you know, lifting heavy and working out every single day. I think just over time, you know, it just wore itself out.
Yeah. And so what are the injuries that you've had?
That was basically the only one I've ever had.
But you've had to get surgeries, right?
I've had 8 back, 3 neck, 3 hip.
So what you said you didn't get injured. So how do the surgeries correlate to the?
I guess just wear and tear.
Yeah. You know,
I've had both hips replaced. You know,
I'm 32 and I get up and I feel pain in my knee when I get out of bed in the morning. It just gets. You tell me it's going to get worse.
No, I wouldn't say that. I wouldn't say that. But my whole family has guys have had both hips replaced. My brother, my uncles, all. So I guess that's a genetic thing.
So you just go through the security, the metal detectors, and just set it off every single time.
Yeah, no, I don't even go through it no more. I just go over there and let them do the pat down.
Yeah,
you know, yeah.
and so I was doing a little bit of research about the surgery that you had, and the cost on them were like astronomical, right?
Yeah. Reason why I had so many back surgeries is the screws kept breaking.
You got too much muscle.
Yeah, exactly. The screws broke about 4 times.
Now, this might be
and every time they would break, they would have to go in and replace it.
Did you know when the screws would break?
Yeah, right out of surgery, I get to my room, nurse comes in and says, hey, I need to change your bandage. And I'm like, already? She's like, yeah. She says, I need you to turn over. So I turn over, pow, right there in the hospital bed.
So you feel it here?
Oh, it shattered my whole body.
And you said that happened multiple times?
That happened, yeah. Well, the other ones I don't know how they broke, but that one, right out of surgery. As soon as they put it in, it snapped.
So they're
right
like,
away.
All right, Ronnie, you're done with surgery? All right, Ronnie, let's go back into surgery.
Yeah, exactly.
That's insane.
That's kind of like how it happened.
And do you think that was just like shitty luck?
I don't know, but like I said, it happened 4 times in a row.
I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Is there a warranty on the surgeries like that? Or?
Yeah, we want our money.
Yeah.
We want our money. If it was like, I think it's like almost 200,000.
And you've had a lot.
Every last one was like that. One was 500.
$500,000?
Yeah, it was 13-hour surgery.
Wow.
13 hours surgery.
How much do you think you've spent on surgeries?
Millions. Millions.
And so with all these surgeries, that doesn't push you away from the gym at all? I mean, the fact that you're...
For every surgery, I try to take about 6 months off.
But then as soon as you're able to get back in the gym...
As soon as I'm able to get back, I try to get back right away.
And what does your kind of fitness, like workout regimen look like nowadays?
Oh, man. I'm nowhere near as strong as I used to be. I'm not even half as strong as I used to be. Now I just do a lot of reps.
You're like, I can still bitch slap someone across the room, though.
Yeah, I can do that. So I do a lot of reps and a lot of lightweight now. So as long as I'm able to get in there and just do something, I'm okay.
So you said that you don't think it was necessarily, I mean, the heavy lifting probably had some sort of association with, connection with your injuries, but you think it's just this long, either genetic thing or from when you were younger, you had a lot of chiropractor visits.
Yeah.
So, but obviously that much strain on the body over time, breaks it down. Like
exactly.
it just is, and especially in the powerlifting world.
Because I never really did anything to my neck.
Yeah.
It just wear and tear.
Do you wish you could go back and change any of the way that you lifted to maybe not have the injuries that you have, or would you not change anything?
I wouldn't really change too much of nothing, because I was doing what I truly loved doing. So if I went back and changed it, then I wouldn't really enjoy myself as much.
Yeah, no, that's awesome to hear.
The only thing I would change is that time when I was in there doing that squat. I had already deadlifted 800, and it was real heavy.
I bet it was.
Heavier than I thought it was going to be. So when it came time for me to do the squat, I'm like, oh man, I know I got 2 when I deadlifted, so if I can just get 2, I'll be all right.
You did the deadlift and the squat in the same session?
No, I did years later.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but you remembered back.
Yeah, I remember back. Yeah. So I'm like, if I can get 2, I'll be all right, So I went in there with, I'm going to get 2. That's all that was on my mind.
What happened after that first rep in your brain?
After that first rep, I'm like, damn, that was light.
Oh,
so
shit.
Let me go a little bit lower. Because I know I had to get 2, and I got my 2, and I put it up, and I'm like, oh, man, I could have did at least 3 or 4 more. So that's the only regret that I have now.
That you didn't do more reps?
Yeah, because I had 6. I had 6 in me. Just from the way the weight fell, I could have done at least 6.
Went in for 2, could have gotten 6.
Could have gotten 6. And I'm like, man, it's going to haunt me forever, and it still haunt me till the day.
That shows your passion with not only just like, your passion of fitness, but your passion of powerlifting and lifting some heavy ass weight.
Yeah. Because I remember as soon as I put it up, I'm like, man, that was light. But, I made up for it because I went to the leg press, and I did 2,300 for 8.
You're like, I could have gotten 12.
No. 8 was the limit.
There's the great saying that
it's still heavy.
I bet. There's the great saying that you have that everybody wants to be a bodybuilder, but don't nobody want to lift no heavy ass weight.
Yeah, but I'll do it though.
I'll do it though. And so when you were on top of the world in Olympia, like the pinnacle of fitness, not even just bodybuilding, that's like the top of the top, especially in that era of fitness, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Social media wasn't
around. Yeah, we
right?
didn't have nothing like that.
But you still were. You were a fitness icon. You were, without the social media, you were this personality, this this title holder, this everything.
Yeah, exactly.
But you did so much to get to that point, and you had to dedicate your entire life.
Yeah, pretty much.
What do you kind of think about the newer generation with this social media, that people can do a lot less, and especially in the fitness kind of scene, and have this big notoriety without putting in 12 years of work? They can do a couple dances on TikTok.
Yeah.
And
millionaires.
Yeah. And start maybe. And so what do you think about the shift?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
Just kind of missed out on a little bit there, but hey, every, era has its own era, but you just do the best that you can with what you got.
Yeah.
So I did the best I could with what I had, at the time. So I'm still just as happy.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And with you being in the bodybuilding world and seeing all of the, the steroids that people had to take to get to this top tier, right? Mm-hmm. Not everyone who takes a bunch of steroids is going to look like you, right?
Exactly.
Or they're going to not put in the work.
Baseball player.
yeah, exactly. So what do you think about the younger generation nowadays starting that stuff with? Because I feel like it's not until now that we're starting to see the long-term effects of steroid use. And now these kids are starting it a lot earlier, and maybe not having a mentor like you did to kind of like guide you in the best way to go about it. And now they're just taking as much as they can to try to be as big as possible at 19 years old.
Yeah. I mean, where I came from, that wasn't even thought about. We didn't even know anything about that kind of thing. But like I said, it's a different day and a different time and different era. Even when I was taking things, I would go to the pharmacy, because DA came in and brought us all up and tried to, I don't know what they're trying to do with trying to charge us with, but they came in and they brought us all before grand juries and made us
When
testify.
was this?
This was like 2002, somewhere in there.
So not crazy long ago. I mean,
not too long ago. So we had to, at least I did. We had to go get our stuff legally done. We would go to these pharmacies, and they would take your blood, and because we were a certain age, you could take testosterone. So my last 5-6 years, I did everything legally. Where I would go to the pharmacy and take these blood tests, and they would write prescriptions for everything that we took. So I don't know. I don't think you could do that at 19 though.
No. What do you?
I didn't start win my first Olympia until I was 34.
Yeah.
Test levels started declining. Right around that when you get in your 30s and stuff. So it was okay to do things where I did. I'd always have my kidneys and my liver, even still today.
Checked out.
I do blood tests like every 2-3 months. Every 2-3 months.
And see, I think now this new generation, they're not doing that. And now I think it's kind of like each kind of like era of bodybuilding. It almost seems that the people get bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Have you seen any shows like that?
I don't follow it as much as I probably should.
They're not as conditioned as we were.
Well, what do you think of the current era of people? Do you think that do you think they're maybe relying on steroids more?
I think because of social media, they don't have to work as hard as we did.
Yeah.
Because they are, they have so many opportunities to make money now. So you don't have to do the things that I had to do and work as hard as I had to work. And they're all following the same mentality for the most part.
Well, I think, making money is definitely something that was a big part of the reasons why you did it. But the top thing was either your passion for, becoming the best, being not only the best version of yourself, but proving to the world that you are the best at what you're doing. And I think it's definitely a different mentality where like the money came along with your passion. Yeah. Where now people are chasing the money rather than the passion's there, but maybe that's not the number one priority for them.
No, it's not. Because back in the day, I did about 4 or 5 shows every year. Of course, the Olympia was my main one. But after the Olympia, they had what's called the European tour.
Right.
And they would have like 4, 5, 6, 7 shows on these tours. And I did them all.
Did you win them all?
Now, yeah, I won them all. Now, guys don't do that kind of stuff no more. If they have a tour, these guys won't do it.
Yeah.
They just do the Olympia and they done.
It's interesting seeing the culture kind of like shift over time, right? And the mindsets change. And with that, obviously training in itself has changed a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
With the change of, let's say we'll call it new fancy bells and whistles with the equipment, right?
The equipment, yeah.
Where when you trained, not that you didn't have machines of any sort, but you probably relied the most on the barbell and the dumbbell.
Free weights.
Like you love it. And do you...
Very rarely you see me doing a machine.
And now maybe, and I don't know this, maybe are you, with your injuries now, are you still I like free weights only, or are some of the machines you see the benefits of them, or?
Yeah, well, I don't have to be as intense as I was. I'm kind of retired for the most part, so I can do all the machines.
What do you think of all of the new ways to skin a cat when it comes to lifting weight? Do you think that it's kind of like it's good that they're evolving, or do you think that like it's overcomplicating fitness?
It's good that they're evolving. Yeah. I think it's great because, like I said, I love doing these machines now.
Yeah. Well, so why do you like the machines versus like what's better about it than back when you just lifted with just the barbell over and over again?
It's a lot easier. You don't have to put out as much. You got these pulleys helping you out.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it as much. You do, like when you do free weights, you got to balance everything out yourself.
All the stabilizers and everything.
Yeah, it got to be stabilized. And when you got those pulleys there, all you got to do is just pull.
Yeah.
You got to balance everything out.
Do you think that Do you think that lifting has gotten less intense because of everyone's using the machines?
Yeah, and because of social media, you know, you don't have to do all that stuff. No, you don't have to work as hard because you have so many other opportunities to make money now.
Yeah, I guess now everyone's priority. And again, having money as a priority is not necessarily a bad thing, but I think having it as a number one priority is not necessarily the best aspect when you're kind of chasing this, passion. Right? Yeah.
So having all these other opportunities to make money, you don't have to do as much as you have to. As much as we had to do back in the day because we didn't have all those opportunities. Our only opportunity to make money was either through like endorsement here and there or getting on stage. So we had to do a lot of contests back in the day. You know, you go to contests, you see the same guys there.
That's the only way to get your name out, right?
Yeah, you had to be on, you know, because the top guys were doing all these shows, you know.
Yeah.
Now it's totally different, you know. They don't have to do all this competing to make money. Like I said, they have other avenues now.
And so with your long history with bodybuilding and just in the fitness space, like what does your kind of life look like now? Are you taking it? Obviously, you're here doing collabs with a lot of the.
Well, you know, I own my own supplement company now, and I still do a lot of appearances. You know, I got Ronnie Coleman signature series, and I got my own show. You know, I still do appearances, do like seminars and stuff like that. So I'm still doing pretty good.
How often are you like
looking up for me?
Yeah, no, absolutely. How often are you like traveling and going to do all these things?
Well, I was like on the road for like 200 days, 250 days out of 365 when I first started my company.
Yeah.
We started international. We like in 130, 140 countries. So I was trying to go to as many countries as I could. But, you know, things just kind of lighten up as we gotten bigger and bigger.
Yeah, absolutely.
So now we just launched GNC last week.
Which is huge. Congrats.
Now we're looking to get into Walmart here pretty soon. Looking to get in, the Army, Navy, stores and stuff like that.
What are
we're
you
branching out now? With getting bigger.
Yeah,
bigger every year. So it's still got a long ways to go.
Absolutely. So
we started in 11. You know, so this is like 11 years later, and we're still thriving, trying to get bigger and bigger, and for the most part, things are working out pretty good.
So you haven't really kind of slowed down your life
one bit. I just don't do all those appearances, especially since COVID. You know, I was doing quite a bit before COVID. You know, but now it's kind of bad, and it still hadn't picked up like we wanted to, but it's gotten better. You know, it ain't what it used to be, but it's gotten better. So I don't do as many appearances as I used to do.
And with the shift into social media culture and YouTube influencers and these all the different apps, TikTok, Instagram, all those, how did you shift from that not being around when you were doing your thing to now that being everything at the moment? How are you kind of transitioning into that? Obviously you have your YouTube channel, you have an entire team that's with you. Yeah. Did you decide that like, hey, we need to start making content and doing this stuff that
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. We need to get on board and start doing what everybody else is doing, It's competition, and you got to do what the competition is doing.
What do you,
and if they're not, you got to be a trendsetter.
Yeah. What kind of content are you making these days?
We're like I say, we're doing the YouTube right now. We're here filming, workout sessions here yesterday and today. And then when I get back to Dallas, we have some more YouTube stuff we're doing when I get back there. And
so, what do you think of the new kind of? Let's say you filmed with Jesse James West, and who I'm filming with him right after this, and Christian, two huge names in the fitness industry. You've seen kind of what Christian has built and Jesse with social media.
Yeah.
How is it training with these high energy influencers now.
It's a lot of fun because these guys, you know, they are fired up and they're hungry and they're ready to go, and I'm always ready to go.
Yeah,
you know, this is the biggest passion in the world for me. So I'm having a great time.
It exudes like your passion for bodybuilding. It exudes through everything you've been saying.
As long as I'm around passionate people, I'm having the time of my life.
What advice do you have for the current generation of people who are trying to better their bodies?
Never give up and never quit, because quitters somehow or another seem to never win.
Did you ever want to, besides that moment when you went to the hotel room with your girlfriend, was there any other moments in your life that you've thought about, you know, quitting your journey?
Nope. That was the only quitting moment I've ever had. And it lasted a minute.
that and quitting eating Domino's pizza.
Well, that to be honest with you, when I was working with Domino's, I kind of got tired of eating that pizza every day. And I was like, man, Kentucky Fried Chicken is right next door. I wonder if they tired of eating chicken. So I called them up one day. I'm like, hey, y'all want to trade pizzas for chicken? Y'all tired of eating chicken? They're like, yeah.
Oh, so the employees would just trade.
And so we would trade. And then Burger King was right next door to them. So I'm like, man.
You just kept going down the street.
Yeah, it was the food court. So I was calling everybody. And that's when I quit eating Domino's. Right then and there.
All right, well, I think kind of a final question I want to leave you on is what's next for you? I mean, you're obviously traveling a ton, doing all these things with your supplements, growing it into it. Mm-hmm. Do you have any other big passion projects you're interested in, big hobbies that you're spending your time doing?
Yeah, we're trying to get the clothing line to come up a little bit bigger. We got that NFT that we're doing also. And that's trying to get that, you know, to jump off. It's going kind of slow, but we still hanging in there, trying to push it along.
Clothing's a bitch.
Like I said, we just got into GNC, and we next Walmart, then Target, you know, and all these other big name stores out there. So we just trying to expand and get bigger and bigger every single year. And
with the supplements, which is it's called what?
Ronnie Coleman Signature Series.
Ronnie Coleman Signature Series, and now obviously you're in a lot of I don't want to call them random supplement stores, but you said GNC that's your big first like kind of rollout contract.
It's kind of like our second time around. We I think it was 2000 and we started in 13. We had a big launch with GNC that didn't go as well as we liked.
Right.
So we on our second go round with it now.
What's going to change second go round?
I think we starting out with .com. We're going to start there and then work our way into the stores. And then, like I said, once we got that down pretty good, we're also working on like the service, Army and Navy. Yeah. And, you know, like I said, Walmart, Target, and all those other stores. Well,
I mean, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but when you start getting your product into more and more stores, as I've done with this candy brand, it's an amazing feeling to go into stores and seeing a product that you helped create, you created on the shelves. And what's even greater is when you go in and you're like, hey, I'm gonna look at my product on the shelf, take a picture of it, and it's sold out and it's not there. Yeah, it's a wild feeling.
It's a great feeling, one of the greatest ever.
Absolutely,
because you know you worked extremely hard to get it there.
Yeah, and
it wasn't easy.
Yeah, no, it
took a little while to get there.
I don't doubt it.
So it's the best feeling ever, like you said.
Well, I want to wrap it up here. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you're a very busy man. You got to drive back to
Arlington.
Yeah. You know, I'm actually from Arlington in Virginia.
Yeah. So a lot of people think that's what I'm saying when I say that.
I didn't know. I feel like Texas just stole a bunch of names from Virginia.
Everybody.
You got Richmond, Texas. I think there's even a Midlothian. That all these names are from.
I'm from Bastrop, Louisiana, and come to find out there's a Bastrop, Texas. I'm like, golly.
Texas is just lazy when they're thinking of all the names, you know? Uh-huh. But I want to thank you so much for coming on here. Is there any, so Ronnie Coleman's signature series where they can find your supplements? Where else can they find content from you?
The clothing line and NFT, everything there, yeah.
RonnieColeman.com? Does he have just a website?
RonnieColeman.net.
RonnieColeman.net. Who has .com?
I don't know.
Some guy named Ronnie Coleman.
No, some guy who I think bought it a long time ago and tried to sell it to me for a large sum of money.
You know who secretly owns it?
I have no idea.
The guy who got second place on that first Olympia that you got first.
Probably.
But I want to thank everyone for watching this episode. If you're on YouTube, make sure you hit the thumbs up button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. Leave a comment down below. I'm going to put all of your information down in the description.
Thank you.
Everyone
appreciate
and their mother should know about Ronnie Coleman, but if you don't, go check his stuff out. An icon and a legend, and I'm just so thankful to have you on this show.
I'm glad to be here. I'm honored to be here. Pleasure all mine.
Well, I appreciate it so much. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'll see you on the next episode. Eat more sour strips and ever forward.
Yeah, buddy.
That was great.
Oh, man, that worked out good.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I think this is.
I'm glad we were able to work it out.
Yeah.
Pleasure's all mine.
I joked about it the other yesterday. I commented on the Instagram, but I joked about it to Christian. I was like, when he posted a story when y'all are up in the lounge, I was like, see if Ronnie wants to be on the podcast. He's like, he's gonna be lifting soon. Just go ask him. I was like, I'm a nobody. I was like, I ain't a no.
I saw your comment go up on his page. I think it was Jesse that posted it. You're like, come on my podcast. I asked him, I asked Jesse, I was like, yo.
So it was the comment on the Instagram.
The comment on
shoot your shot. That's what we got to do. Shoot your shot.
No, that's crazy.
Well, thank you so much.
Man, my pleasure.